Hello everyone, this is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of Eye of the Dragon, King Dio, Rabbit Hole, and Cruel and Beautiful. We're at the point now where I think it's safe to say that Cinemassacre is dead, or at the very least on the decline. It is dying. It is not what it used to be. We are at the point where AVGN is completely burnt out. Mike's gone, and his replacements, the Screenwave guys, are extremely unpopular. And I do mean extremely unpopular. It just dawned on me. Somebody just linked actually went ahead and linked a subreddit to me, like Cinemassacre Exposed or something like Cinemassacre, like behind the scenes or something like that. And it's just seeing some of these clips, right? Seeing some of the clips that like I haven't watched. Seeing like some statements from fans, seeing some of the behind the scenes stuff, it really has made me realize just how much I don't like the slobs or the Screenwave people. Like, I don't care for them. I don't want them in my video feed. I don't want their content. And over the months and years, I kind of found myself like not clicking on anything that kind of prominently featured them. Like there was a video a while back where Justin Silverman was showing off his like Gengar collection. Kieran, I've always thought was kind of a stoner dipshit who added nothing to any of these conversations. I guess Hack the Movies is fine. I don't have a problem with that guy, but I don't think he's like part of the crew. What is his name? Tony? I can't remember. He was funny. Like, back when they were doing like retail reviews, they were fine. Like, it felt like they were having like real organic conversations, talking about like, interesting movies. I didn't have a problem with them. But the way things have been going, the way the channel has been like sort of going along, right? With James sort of moving away from producing AVGN videos, handing off most of the production to the Screenwave guys. The quality of the video content has been going down. Like, people don't want these slobs to be involved with the production because it is clearly negatively impacting the content. Like, I'm not even one of those people who will say like, oh, like old AVGN was better. No. Like, pre-Screenwave AVGN was better. Like, this clearly is affecting the quality of the output of the channel, right? This partnership isn't working, and I think the numbers of the thing that really did it for me, the thing that really made me realize this was looking at the numbers for James's new podcast, the official Cinemassacre podcast, where it's just basically just James sitting there while like Justin and Kieran talk about nonsense. It's not a good podcast. I didn't enjoy it, and I didn't listen to it at all, but like just looking at the view count numbers, just looking at like just how much this thing like dropped after week one. Like I think like the views were like 160,000 the first week, and then like they were about half that the following week, and of course they're going to drop from there. It feels like we finally reached the point where AVGN is kind of becoming, I don't want to say irrelevant, but like sort of a shell of its former self. Sort of the direction that like Pat the NES Punk went down, where he's trying to find new avenues to make content, and of course he resorted to a podcast. But like, I don't know, people don't like these individuals they're bringing on. Like, I think that guy that Pat brought on, what's his name? Like, that guy was like heavily responsible for like the decline of Pat the NES Punk. It's the same situation. Like, you're surrounding yourself with people who did nothing to really build up your channel, build up your brand at all, and you're allowing them to make like major decisions regarding like the production, the output of videos, and people are like really starting to get sick of it. Like, it's not just AVGN. Like, I've noticed like a severe quality decline in most Cinemassacre videos over the past like year or so. It's been very, very noticeable. Other than maybe like some of the music videos, which I do kind of like. The idea of like James starting a band and doing these weird cover songs. That's a lot of fun. But like the actual Screenwave Productions, like the AVGN, like that Pac-Man 2 review, like it was incredibly low quality, like insanely so. And like I went ahead and like watched some older AVGN videos, like even stuff as like, you know, stuff like Earthbound and stuff like that. Like there's clearly a difference in quality there. It's very, very noticeable. Like it's obvious that James has stepped back from production. He's trying to deny it, like desperately, because he knows, like he knows that like with the way things are going, like he's done. Like people are going to stop watching. People are going to stop tuning in. People are going to stop paying attention to the channel because, like, the people involved just have no talent. They have no charisma. They have nothing to offer. Like, I would go so far as to say, like, even, like, the behind-the-scenes work isn't any good. Because I've seen, like, some bad editing takes that, like, James would never have made if he edited the videos himself. Like, it's, you know, terrible scripts. Like there's all these examples, all these things I've noticed, all these things I just kind of compiled to the point where, like, I legit don't think I'm going to stay subscribed much longer. I do think it's about time to unsub. Again, this isn't a decision I make lightly. Like, this isn't something that, like, I'm just throwing out there. Like, it feels a lot like James is going down the same route that, like, YouTubers like Missa T went down when, like, their content kind of starts down spiraling, like in views and interest, and like they don't know how to handle it, and so like they kind of lash out at the fans, and they kind of like do things that like no one else is interested in. You know what I mean? Like they pull all these shenanigans that sort of like alienate their user base further, and yeah, I do think James is doing that now. I do think this is the drama that's going to, like, kill Cinemassacre in the long term. Now, it might not be right away, but it seems to be going down that direction, going by what I've seen online, like how I feel about the situation, and how, like, other YouTubers, like how, you know, the fans are reacting. Like, just, like, I used to feel that, like, people complaining about the slobs being everywhere was kind of like exaggerating. It kind of reminded me of how, like, people complained about Mike, right? When, like, he first, like, showed his face on camera. Like, people didn't realize initially just how much work he put into, like, the classic AVGN videos, like having drawn the title cards and, like, really pushed James to really make the character. Like, I think that's the big thing right now, more than, like, the slobs involvement, is, like, Mike being gone. Right, because, like, without Mike, you have, like, James has no real interest in games. He doesn't play a lot, and that's fine. Like, he's just an entertainer, right? Like, nobody expected him to ever be up to date on, like, classic video in, like, the newest game announcements or anything like that. Like, he had his niche, he had his audience. People were fine with that, but now we're at the point where I think the best thing for him to do is retire. Like, I think if he truly doesn't want to produce AVGN, if he doesn't want to do the work himself, if he wants to pawn it off on other people, if he doesn't want to, like, yeah, he should either slow down production, you know, and make 3 videos a year, you know, to keep the quality up, or he should outright retire, right? Like, he should just retire the character and just say that, like, yeah, okay, I have nothing more to contribute with, like, this character. I'm done with it. I think I'm about ready to move on. But I don't think he can do that. Like, I think he's in the position now that Nostalgia Critic was in like 2012, where, like, he can't really retire the character because that would make everything else he does completely irrelevant. I do think that's the case. Probably makes plenty of money, but he's probably like in a much better position than Doug was at that time. I don't think Doug was like a millionaire when he retired the Nostalgia Critic for the first time. But James, like, he did his thing. He had his niche. He had his audience. But, like, now I think it's time to stop. Like, that's my advice to James. Is, like, you can't keep this up forever. Is he really going to, like, go through, like, his 40s still, like, playing the nerd character? Like, still doing this? Like, No, I think it's time to move on. I think it's time to like move on to other projects, retire, and sort of like rethink like what you're doing. Like I don't think this is a good look for you. I don't think this is going to end well. Like I do think this is going to cause like more drama, more friction, and less viewer interest. Like I do think views are going to go down. I'm sure people are going to start unsubbing. I'm sure like this is going to continue escalating because I don't see this getting better anytime soon.